Okay, you can see a deer right in the middle between those trees. It's a doe that I scared up as I walked up a real high ridge in Hell's Canyon above Deep Creek. We came in yesterday on horseback, and the country is spectacular, but deer hunting is very difficult, and it's because the ridges are so high up. There was a doe and two fawns. This is one of the fawns. They're fairly mature, probably 6 months old now, and they were actually bedded down right in this brush. And I sat down for a while and looked, and then I did a simulated grunt, which actually spooked them out of there. And then they moved to the left. First the mother. She ran all the way up to the top of this ridge here. And then two of the does, the fawns, and where the other one is now I don't know. But one of them just kind of hung around and is still over there. I'm going to do a panorama so you can see what kind of country I'm talking about. Those are the top of the ridges in Hell's Canyon. We are actually way down there where you see those green trees, further to the left in Deep Creek. And I have taken 3 hours to get to the point I'm at now. I'm not going to go too much further up. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm just kind of hunt these ridges and then eventually work my way down to the creek and then back to the camp. So that's the report. Okay, here we are on the second afternoon of our hunt. You're looking down Deep Creek towards the Snake River, and then Idaho's on the other side. I've hiked up what is called the Teaser Drainage to explore the hillsides on the other side of the drainage. According to Sean Steen, our outfitter, there are a lot of bucks in this canyon. There also are a lot of elk and bear. Don has been going up each day, and he hasn't come up here. He's been down a little lower, and he's been scouting. But to this point in the hunt, he's seen nothing but a doe in here and no bucks. Sean told us last night it's possible that we have scared them out of here already because they're very skittish according to him. And it seems funny in the wilderness, but he said they really take flight when they recognize people are in the area. So this evening, what I'll be doing is I brought Don's spotting scope. I'll be looking along these rim rocks. Those are the rock formations you see that look like stripes on the side of the hill. Be looking along those because according to him, that's where they bed down during the day, and they'll stay in there all day long until they decide to come out. And then they just come out, and they probably would go down into this green area down there because there will be springs in these areas that they'll be able to get water and also feed. He also said last night that he generally will spot deer 400 yards to a mile away, and then if they're a mile away, he figures out a way to get closer, but he'll take a 400 to 600 yard shot, which is very surprising to us because we really weren't prepared to make that kind of shot when we came in here. And on a side note, the hiking is extremely steep, and it's pretty much taxed me to the absolute hilt. I don't really have these kinds of hikes left in me, especially carrying a backpack. But I made it up here, so we'll see how it goes tonight. This is Don Fisher, a hunter from Bend, Oregon, who's currently hunting deer in Hells Canyon Wilderness with Steen's Outfitters. Don, how have things gone for you thus far?
Well, I've seen a few animals, but haven't connected with anything.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you see any shooters?
I saw a legal deer. Yeah, passed one up this morning. It was a 3x2 buck.
And why did you do that? Why did you?
Because it wasn't big enough.
It wasn't big enough. So you are, I mean, how
Because it wasn't
big
big
does the
enough
deer
and
have to be before you decide to pull the trigger?
It wasn't big enough, and the meat handling is difficult here with the high temperatures and lots of flies.
Yes, it has been very warm, probably 80 degrees. And what's your plan this afternoon, Don?
Well, I'm going to take a trail out to the north, and we'll probably go about a mile or a mile and a half, and try to see some deer as they come out of their day beds.
Okay. And I notice you have a rifle over your shoulder. What kind of rifle are you carrying?
I'm carrying a Blosser R93 and 300 Remington Ultra Magnum.
Okay, so there would be no excuse if you actually had a chance to shoot a deer.
It should do the job.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're gonna, this is Don Fisher, a hunter from Bend, Oregon, who's currently hunting deer in Hells Canyon Wilderness with Steen's Outfitters. Don, how have things gone for you thus far?
Well, I've seen a few animals, but haven't connected with anything.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you see any shooters?
I saw a legal deer. Yeah, passed one up this morning. It was a 3x2 buck.
And why did you do that? Why did you?
Because it wasn't big enough.
It wasn't big enough. So you are, I mean, how
Because it wasn't
big
big
does the
enough
deer
and
have to be before you decide to pull the trigger?
It wasn't big enough, and the meat handling is difficult here with the high temperatures and lots of flies.
Yes, it has been very warm, probably 80 degrees. And what's your plan this afternoon, Don?
Well, I'm going to take a trail out to the north, and we'll probably go about a mile or a mile and a half, and try to see some deer as they come out of their day beds.
Okay. And I notice you have a rifle over your shoulder. What kind of rifle are you carrying?
I'm carrying a Blosser R93 and 300 Remington Ultra Magnum.
Okay, so there would be no excuse if you actually had a chance to shoot a deer.
It should do the job.
Okay. Okay, here we are with Sean Steen, who is a combination of guide, wrangler, camp cook, general all-around mechanic. Takes care of everything that's needed at our deluxe camp here at Deep Creek. So, Sean, I understand you've been doing this for a few years.
What did I figure? 28 now.
28. Have you learned anything during those years?
I've learned how to make things a lot easier than it was back then.
Okay, well, we're glad to hear that. Well, probably what's most important to us is, have you learned exactly where the buck is that I'm going to shoot tonight, so I can just walk up without too much effort and get it?
Well, I've got one in the freezer at home if you want to go get that one. It'd be easier.
It may resort to that.
No, no worries hiding.
So, Sean, you've taken in how many deer hunters then this season?
Not many. Deer hunting's dropping off, but we have 5 down here and 3 up in Eagle Cap is all I've got this year.
Okay. And I understand the elk hunting in this area is actually very good.
Elk hunting is excellent. Yeah, we run about 80% kill on our elk.
That is very, very good. Do you have any elk hunters that are going in this year?
Yeah, I've got about 41 or 43 that I'll be packing in as far as branch bowl. And I don't know what there is. There's 10 or less spike hunters going season before.
Do you have any greenhorns going in like us?
Every year.
Every year. And do they occasionally luck out and get one?
Oh yeah, almost every camp tags out. There's some guys that are just camp cooks and they really don't get out from camp and they don't get anything. But generally, I mean, the majority of the people come home with elk.
Boy, that's really a good report. We'd like to hear that about deer, though. So is that true for most of the people that come in and hunt deer?
Deer used to be over 80% kill, and now we're backed off to 40% or less now.
Okay.
I still think there's a good number of deer in here because, well, they saw 9 above us out of one camp, and so that's doing really well.
That's a lot of deer. So we just need to find them, and then we don't have to be part of the 60% that don't get a deer.
Exactly.
All right, well, we'll hope for the best. I do want to point out that Sean is a gourmet cook, and we probably have gained about 5 pounds in the last 5 days. Let's see, we have had, as I remember, we started off with pork chops, and then we went to fried chicken, and then I think we went to salmon,
Yes.
and then we went to steak.
Steaks, ribeyes,
And then tonight, what's on the
spaghetti tonight.
spaghetti?
It's
Okay, is Steen's an Italian name?
No, I think it's Irish.
Well, we'll hope for the best in terms of what the spaghetti will be like, but we're looking forward to it. And what kind of wine are you serving with that?
Oh, usually have a white wine with it. I don't know if that's right or not, but we were overloaded, so I had to leave the wine home. We're going to stick with beer tonight.
Okay, we may have to have a Busch Light with
There
the
you go.
spaghetti. Sean has been very generous in supplying us with Busch Lights to kind of ease our pain when we come in from the morning hunt. And the pain has been twofold: psychological for failing again to harvest a deer, and then physical from the pain it takes, the pain that's generated from hiking up and down these hills. Any last words of wisdom for us, Sean?
Look hard. That's all I can say.
Okay, I do want to say that every night Sean has solved every world problem for us, so that when we get back to civilization, I'm going to write to President Obama and recommend that Sean be nominated for an executive position. Anyways, we've had a great time with Sean, and we just want to thank you, Sean, for providing us with a really nice camp in a beautiful place. It's really been fun coming back into Hell's Canyon.
It's been fun cooking for you guys, and wish I could be out there guiding for you, but
You can't do every elk on the top of this ridge. It's about 10 minutes after sunset. And I started down the trail towards the camp. And I looked up, and 2 of them came out. And I was thinking first they were really big deer. And when I looked, I could see that they were cow elk. So I wanted to take a picture of them so you could see what they look like. There's a lot of elk in this country. I've had more elk than deer based on what I've seen the last 5 days. Pretty animal.